Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on June 23rd, 2018. If you'd like to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to demonstrate on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 4, 14, 23, 27, and 56. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with the orange area, the green, the blue, and the purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so how this works is, again, I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, which equals 13.8. Okay, so my goal is to have at least 13 or 14 numbers per color. Okay, so for this drawing here, I have 14 red numbers, 15 orange, 15 green, 11 blue, and 14 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here to this 238, this is how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And again, these are the color code drawings. Okay, so out of this 238 drawings, 123 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 84 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 23 drawings have come up a 2-color combination. And only 9 times out of 238 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number right here, this number 4, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see there was a purple, a green, 2 orange, and a blue for 4 colors total. Okay, so how I use this is I try to correctly guess what the number is going to come up here. Okay, so more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, but the overall strategy is this. Okay, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers. Okay, so again, there's 69 numbers total. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. Okay, so for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so to help me out with that, I'm going to turn to how only 9 times out of 238 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. Okay, so all 5 colors hardly ever come up together. So that means 1 or 2 of these numbers will not be able to come up. 1 or 2 of these colors won't be able to come up. Okay, so for me, I think that no purple numbers are going to come up. Okay, and the reason why is because purple number has come up in the last 7 drawings here. Okay, so I just think that it's just due to miss. Okay, like it did right here. You can see that there's no purple numbers there. Okay, I think that's going to happen again. So I'm going to eliminate the purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so we're all going to look at this differently. You may look at it and say, no, I don't think any orange numbers or any red numbers are going to come up or whatnot. Okay, so again, for me, I look at it and say, I don't think any purple numbers are going to come up. Okay, so again, I'm going to eliminate the purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this, This means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet here, okay, if I'm correct with my pick and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is the master for each individual number is up here at the very top. Okay, and over here to the right are the numbers that just came up in the drawing. Again, it was the 4, 14, 23, 27, and 56. And that turns out to be a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, and what you're going to see is that I've broken up all 69 numbers into 7 different groups. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Okay, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so this group number 1 only has 9 numbers, while the other 6 groups have 10 numbers to it. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so why I do that is because when I head back into the history of things, it's just easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, so another reason why I do it this way is because if I see a big group of hits right here within this certain group of numbers here, okay, then my theory is maybe there won't be so many hits in the next following 5 drawings, okay, or vice versa. Okay, so again, the overall strategy is to eliminate numbers, okay, and with this, there's 7 groups, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay, so 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay, so I tried to correctly guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for me, and again, we're all going to look at this differently, but for me, I don't think any 50 numbers are going to come up because they've just been so hot here, and there's already 4 numbers here that have been hit within these 5 drawings that I just think it's due to cool off a little bit. Okay, so I don't think any 50 numbers will be coming up in this drawing. So again, I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. So if you get my game here, there's a couple ways that you can use this. Of course, you try to eliminate what numbers won't be coming up, but you can look at this and say, gee, what numbers will be coming up? You know, another thing that you could do is you could highlight just one number and go down through the history and see what colors they have been. Okay, that may help you out. And another thing that may help you out is trying to guess how many groups are actually going to be hit. Okay, so most of the time it's either a 4-group combination or a 3-group. Okay, 3s and 4s come up the most. 5 comes up every once in a while. Okay, and a 2 will come up every once in a blue moon. And I've never seen a 1. So here's a 2 right here. You can see that there's 2 20 numbers and 3 60 numbers for 2 groups total. Okay, so again, I've never seen a 1. I've never seen like all 5 60 numbers come up or whatever. Okay, so again, my guess is that no 50 numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far, with no purple numbers from the color code and now no 50 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is maybe you heard the saying divide and conquer. That's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm dividing the Powerball into certain groups and trying to conquer each one here. Okay, just small little bits at a time. So again, if I'm correct with my guesses here and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 white correct winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card. Okay, so what numbers don't come up, well, that leaves the numbers that will. Okay, so I just hope that I'm correct with my guesses. and I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups. Okay, and I put colors to these groups. So when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these groups down here in the stats. Okay, so this represents the red area, the blue, the orange, and the green. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that came up were the 4, 14, 23, 27, and 56. Okay, so here in the red area, you can see that the 4 and the 27 came up. So down here in the red, you can see I have a 2, and again, that represents the 4 and the 27. Okay, here in the blue area, there was 2 hits as well, and that was the 14 and the 23. So again, that 2 represents that 14 and 23. Okay, here in the orange area, you can see that there was a 0, so no winning Powerball numbers were here in the orange area. And here in the 1, here in the green area, you can see there was a 1, and that was the 56 right here. Okay, so this 1 represents that 56. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have gotten rid of all these orange numbers and gave myself a much better chance at picking the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards, and they all kind of look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green. I divided it into each option card has those same colors. Again, red, blue, orange, green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so this is why I created 15 option cards to give me as many options as possible. Again, to guess where these zeros are going to pop up here. Okay, so my first guess here is going to be option card number 2, no orange numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is as I go down through all 15 option cards here, since I'm using all the same colors, red, blue, orange, and green, I have what's called a group 1 overview. Okay, and how I use this here is you can see that in the red area there was 4 zeros. In the blue area there was only 1 0 through all 15 option cards, and here it is right here, option card number 15. There was 8 zeros among the orange areas, and there was 4 zeros among the green ones. Okay, so what I do is when there's 5 or more zeros or misses within this color groups, I color this blue. Okay, I color it blue for cold. Okay, so if there's 4 or less zeros within all 15 of these option cards, I color it red for hot. Okay, so I need some separation here. So 5 or more. So I picked 5 because it's a third of the option cards. Okay, so I'm going to go through and show you all 8 misses here. Okay, so looking for 8 of these blue marks in the orange area here. Okay, so again, as I go through, I want you to count them with me. Okay, so here's the first one, 1, and then here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so if I could have even guessed 4 of these correct, okay, then I could have eliminated a bunch of numbers here. Okay, so that's the thing. All right, so you use the group 1 overview to try to predict which one is going to have a bunch of zeros to it, and then you go back and you go through each option card and decide which one of it's not. So that means that I think that this is going to be a blue mark right here. So I think there's going to be 5 or more zeros within these 15 option cards here. Okay, so again, the first one was option card number 2. I don't think any of these orange numbers are going to pop up. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, that means that I don't believe that any of these orange numbers are going to be coming up in the drawing. So I want to get rid of them. And I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with none of these orange numbers here of option card number 2. Okay, so I want to point out that the 69 and the 53 share the square here. Okay, so what that means is you can see that these 5 numbers out here, it's the 8, 19, 25, 53, and 58. These share the square with some numbers here, like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, the 53 and the 69, and the 58 and 68. Okay, so when you look at the group 1, you can see that there's no numbers out here to the left. Okay, so that means when I get rid of these orange areas here, okay, all these orange numbers, I'm going to be getting rid of the 53 and the 69 along with all these other numbers as a group. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm breaking down the numbers, the 69 numbers into different groups of numbers and trying to predict what numbers are going to come up or not come up in the drawing. Okay, so again, I think that no orange numbers from group 2 are going to come up. And again, we are all going to look at this a little bit differently. Okay, you may say, gee, I don't think any zeros are going to come up. And that happens. I call that a row. Okay, so you can see that there was no zeros here. Okay, and when I go back through the history of things, I can see where the rows have been. Okay, so if there's a big gap, like right here between rows, well, I know that it's due to come up. So if I think that there's going to be a row, then that means that when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent all 4 color groups here. Okay, but I don't. I think that none of these orange numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm off to my next pick, and that's option card number 4, no orange numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 4, and the reason why I'm picking this one is because this one had a wicked long run of 27 drawings in a row where one of these orange numbers have come up. Okay, and then it had a wicked long one of 33 as well. Okay, so because it had a couple really long runs here, I just think it's due to have a couple of zeros here too. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. And again, I don't believe that any of these orange numbers will be coming up on option card number 4. So I want to get rid of them, and I'm going to get rid of them through the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over to the right. Here's option card number 4. You can read underneath. Group 1, option card 4, no orange numbers. And you can see that there's no orange numbers here anymore. Okay, so I'm off to the next pick. I think you get the gist of things here, so I'm going to speed things up a little bit. And my next one is going to be option card number 7, no green numbers. Oops. Okay, so here's option card number 7. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because you can see that this is a single 0, and every once in a while these double up or even triple up. Okay, but with this one here, you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros here. Okay, so again, I think it's due to double up, like right here. And as I go up, you can see how many single zeros there are. I believe there's 15 total. Okay, so again, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. And again, I think that if I think that that's going to be a 0, then that means none of these green numbers will be coming up, I hope. Okay, so I want to get rid of any green numbers that are still left on the game card from this option card number 7. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right, and you can read underneath, option card number 7, no green numbers. And this is what it looks like so far. So again, I want to remind you that, again, if I'm correct with these picks and none of these blocked out numbers come up, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these colored numbers still left on the game card here. So you can see that I'm giving myself a much better advantage if, and the key word here is if, I made all the correct picks and none of these numbers come up in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to go to my next pick, and that's option card number 11, no orange numbers. Okay, so let me go to group 1 here. So here it is, option card number 11. I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I think that's just going to double up. And this is what that orange column looks like here. Okay, so you can see that there's a couple single zeros, and I think that this is going to double up. So I don't believe that any of these orange numbers are going to be coming up in the drawing. Okay, so I want to get rid of them. All right, and I get rid of them through the game card. So again, here it is, option card 1. Group 1, option card number 11, no orange numbers, and you can see that I got rid of all those. Okay, so I'm all done with group 1, eliminating numbers from group 1. So now I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. So again, you might have heard that saying, divide and conquer. Okay, so again, this is just another way of looking at different groups of numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these groups will not be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'll show you how this works. All right, I have 15 of these option cards as well, and I use the same colors for each option card. And for this one, it's red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so again, all the same colors for each different option card here. Okay, so how this works is I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. Okay, so here in this area here, I'm sorry, I'm going to go through this red area right here. Okay, so this is the stats for the red. Okay, so you can see it's 0 right here. Then that means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within this red area. And the 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within this red area. Okay, so how I use this is I'm always looking for the majority of things. Okay, so this is why I broke this down into 5 Powerball drawings at a time. Okay, so if there's 3 or more zeros within these 5 drawings, then I color the background blue for cold. If there's 3 or more hits within these 5 drawings, the majority is hits, so I color the background red for hot. Okay, so since the reason why I do this is because since the lottery is so random, when I look at this and you see that there's a bunch of cold and then there's a bunch of hot, well, I know that nothing can stay hot or cold forever in something that's so random. Okay, so I look for things where things are really hot, and I know that they're going to cool off eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so for this drawing here, my guess is going to be option card number 2. I'm sorry, option card number 7, no green numbers. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards as well. And I know that 3 of these groups will not be able to come up. Okay, so I look for ones that I feel most comfortable with. Okay, so for this one, it's the green area, okay, of option card number 7. So here's the stats for the green, and as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot. Okay, now I think they're going to start to cool off, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so if I'm correct, then that means that none of these green numbers will come up, hopefully. Okay, and I believe the only one left is the 64. Okay, so as I scroll down, sorry, I got to bring this back to 90. Okay, so as I scroll down, you can see that underneath option card 2, group 2, option card number 7, no green numbers, and that 64 is gone now. Okay, so now I'm down to 2, 4, 6 numbers from 69. Okay, and I'm going to go on to the next one that I think is not going to come up, and that is option card number 15, no red numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the red, and as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot here. Okay, pretty hot here. I got a long run of red, and now I think it's time to turn blue. So I think there's going to be a couple zeros here in a row. Okay, so if there is a 0 there, then that means that none of these red numbers will be coming up. Again, I hope. Okay, so the only one left is the 39. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And you can see underneath group 2, option card number 15, no red numbers, and that 39 is gone now. Okay, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers, and I'm down to 5. Okay, so this is as far as I could go. Okay, usually I leave between 8 and 11 numbers on the board. Okay, but for this drawing, I reduced it right down to 5, and these are the 5 that I'm going to go with. Okay, but I'm going to keep on going through the strategies. Okay, and the next one is strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, so there has to be a majority, okay? Either a majority of odd numbers or a majority of even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side, okay? So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the upcoming majority will be, okay? So how you look at this is this 283. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far, and this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So out of this 283 drawings, 143 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 140 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so when I first started out with this, okay, when I was working on this game, I reduced the numbers down to 10, okay, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10 numbers on my game card here, okay? So that's when I looked at this and I said, gee, you know, I think I'm really on to something here. I did what I wanted to do. I reduced the numbers down, which gave me a much better opportunity at winning some kind of prize, you know? So that day I only got 2 correct, and that's where I came up with this 50-50 picks here to give me an edge of any way that I could get, okay? So I look at this and I try again to correctly guess what the majority will be, okay? So for this drawing here, I got evens and odds, and I got high and low, and all the red numbers are considered high numbers. All the blue numbers are considered low numbers, okay? And then I got left and right, okay? So this is why I call it the 50-50 picks, okay? It's either going to be the majority to the left side or the majority to the right side, okay? So this last one is just the red and blue area here, Okay, another 50-50 way of looking at things, and this is the only one that I'm going to guess at. Okay, so I think the majority of the numbers are going to be in the blue area here. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, and I will in a second, but I got one more thing to show you. This is for the Powerball number. This is for that red number. Okay, and the red number was number 13. Okay, so if you don't know about the Powerball, there's 69 white ball numbers where you got to correctly guess 5 out of those 69 white ones, and there's 26 red numbers, and you got to pick one number out of that 26. So if you pick all 6 numbers correct, you win the grand prize. And the grand prize this drawing is 40 million. Okay, so if you're looking at this column here and you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. Again, there's 26 numbers. I just divided this in half, okay? So if you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so if you're looking at this column here, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. And if you see a blue one, that means it's evens, okay? So for me, I just kind of like looking at the colors here, okay? So if I see a long streak like red right here, well, I know it's eventually going to turn blue. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so again, what I'm looking to do is create advantage for myself and try to correctly guess anything here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the left, I mean. And you can see that the only thing that I felt comfortable with the 50-50 picks is saying that, yeah, I think there's going to be more in the blue area. Okay, so as I head down here, my next strategy is strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from group 2. Okay, so here it says, I think there's going to be lots of hits among the brown areas of group 2. Okay, so again, I have a group 2 overview. Okay, so just like the group 1 overview here, I'll show you what the group 2 one looks like. So here's the group 1 overview, and this is the group 2 overview. Okay, so again, as I go back to group 2 here, again, I have 15 of these option cards. So that means that there's 15 red areas, there's 15 blue areas, 15 orange, and so on. Okay, so I keep track of that, and again, I call that the group 2 overview, where I keep track of all the red areas as a group. Okay, so as I go back to the group 2 overview, this is for all the red areas. Okay, so in the last drawing, all 15 option cards, there was 6 hits out of them, and there was 9 misses where none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within these 9 option cards. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. If you get 8 or more misses, the majority will be misses, so I color the background blue for cold. And if there's 8 or more hits, the majority will be hits, so I color the background red for hot. So here I just got to look at the colors again and try to correctly guess when it's going to be red or blue. Okay, so now I'm trying to correctly guess where it's going to be red, and I think it's going to be here in the brown area. Okay, so the reason why is I go down through. Now, if you were to play this game yourself, what I do is every 5 drawings, I put the majority right here. Okay, so out of this 5, you can see the majority was red, so I put red. And down here, the majority was blue, so I put a blue mark right here. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that there was a bunch of blue marks in a row. So now I think it might be a couple red marks here. Okay, so that means that this one and the next one will have to be red. All right, so again, I think out of all 15 option cards, there's going to be lots of hits in these brown areas here. Okay, so how I use this is this number 1. This represents the number 1 option card in group 2. Okay, so as I go there, the brown area is what I'm looking at. That runs from the 6 to the 62. So when I go to the game card, you can see that there's nothing here. Okay, so I put a 0 here. Okay, and I guess I never got rid of these. Those aren't on the game card anymore. Okay, so this is how I divide things up. Okay, this is how I could make a better guess on what the numbers will be if I have more than 5 option cards here. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Okay, and that's strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over to the right. And the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 15, 23, 36, 40, and 42. Okay, so with this combination of numbers here, this will give me 8 hits, 7 misses among the 15 option cards. Okay, so here's the 15 option cards. So there was a hit here in option card 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 7 of these option cards had a 0 to it. Okay, so the majority was 8. So there's 8 for hits, so that's the majority. So when I go back to the group 2 overview, hopefully tomorrow I'll be putting an 8 here and a 7 here and marking it red. Just like so. Okay, so I'll give you a visual of that. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. That's what I hope will happen. This is just a strategy game. I'm not a clairvoyant or anything like that. I don't know what's going to happen. All right, so as I go back, my best guess is that the 5 white winning numbers will be the 15, 23, 36, 40, and 42. Okay, so that's how I use my game. This is how I come up with picking my numbers. Okay, it takes a little while to explain, but once you got it, it only takes like 10-15 minutes. You can take as long as you want. Some people don't have very much time. Other people have all the time in the world to use this. Okay, so use what's best for you. Okay, so again, if you want to use my game, okay, if you're interested in playing my game, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, I charge $10 a month. And what that means is I'll send a link of my Google Sheets here to you, okay? And the $10 is to be considered a maintenance fee to keep the system updated, okay? So all payments are made through PayPal, and I thank you for your consideration. Okay, so again, my email is decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, so if you like the content of this channel, I hope that you subscribe. And as always, I want to wish everybody the best of luck with your picks.